Welcome back. This week we are focusing on mental health challenges in our series, Let's Talk Out Loud. The winter months, they can be hard on a lot of us. According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, an estimated 15% of people in our country will experience some sort of seasonal depression at least once in their life. The days are shorter. There's not as much sunlight. We have a lot of added stress. Those who suffer from seasonal affective disorder are finding this winter particularly difficult. So, here to talk to us about the impact of seasonal patterns is psychologist Kelly Horner. Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
Let's begin by really understanding what seasonal affective disorder is exactly, how it's evolved within the medical
Yep.
community and over time. Can you talk to us
Yep.
about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it is a type of depression that's related to changes in mood and in changes in seasons. And it was previously known as, and the formal diagnosis was previously known as seasonal affective disorder, but through the years, we've come to know more about the disorder. And in the medical community, we actually refer to now seasonal affective disorder as a part of a depression. So it's a pattern actually of depression that we now classify as a subtype of depression because there are various types of depression. And we know now that seasonal pattern can actually be part of a major depressive disorder. It could also be part of a person who's experiencing bipolar 1 or bipolar 2. It really is specific to a mood disorder that is occurring at a specific time of year, with complete remission of your symptoms at periods when it ends, and then having repeated occurrences during these particular seasonal times.
But how can we differentiate between just not liking winter every year, which would be a pattern, and depression with a seasonal pattern?
It is tricky, but the common symptoms, I'll start out with depression. Common symptoms of depression in general are when you feel significantly and persistently down. It's also a loss of interest in things that you typically enjoy, an increased feeling of guilt, changes in concentration, changes in your sleep, and changes in your appetite. Also with depression, you can have possible suicidal ideation. Unique to seasonal pattern, though, is where you're persistently, that occur due to seasonal changes, is hypersomnia. So that would be an increased need for sleep or taking longer naps and not feeling rested. Another aspect is increased and marked avoidance others or social activities. You also can experience an increased craving for carbs, which could lead to some weight gain as well. As you said, Jess, like there can be common for all of us, common for all of us is with the loss of daylight, we all feel some level of increased tiredness and or sleep and wanting to kind of hunker down and cuddle up with your blankets and just relax. But it truly is different with seasonal pattern depression because it really is disruptive to a person's overall experience and their ability to function.
So, Kelly, what are the specific causes of this condition?
There's a variety of things they think contributed to it. They do think that being in a northern latitude or more in the northern areas of the world, that there is because we have a reduction.
Lucky us.
And loss of, exactly. We have a loss of light, sunlight, and access to daylight, which decreases, which also changes our circadian rhythm. And circadian rhythm is a term that really just is speaking to when we go to sleep and when we wake up. So when we go to sleep and when we wake up also can change or be out of whack, especially with daylight savings, but also with the shorter days. With the loss of this light and the loss of amount of daylight, also we experience just a natural decrease in serotonin and melatonin. And they do know from a drop in serotonin, just the chemicals in our brain, that does play a role in our mood. So just naturally, because it's a change in the season, it can disrupt our body's balance. So epidemiological studies have actually shown a lifetime prevalence of seasonal pattern ranging. So in Asian countries, it's 0.5%. In Europe, it's 1.3 to 3. And then in northern countries, it's 9.5. So you can see there is a significant jump. It's still a smaller portion of the population, but it is very significant. When it does affect someone, it does have a significant effect on their lives.
I want to focus a little more on this access to sunlight and how important it is because
Yeah,
we are in Canada. There are people who are in the north of Canada who get much less than, the other people in the city, but it is a significant lack of sunlight as opposed to the summer months. And then on top of it, this year, we've all been spending so much time
Yeah.
indoors, not getting as much
yeah,
light. Like I can tell you, Kelly, it's Wednesday. I haven't left my house since Sunday.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
probably all of this has an effect. Can you tell us, is it actually demonstrably having a consequence, an impact on how we're feeling?
Yeah, I think you've hit the right on the nail on the head there, because I think absolutely those two things, the lack of the decrease in daylight and sunlight, does affect our mood, but also, like you said, our social activity, but just our physical activity. Like if you think about, Lainey, what you've done since Sunday, if you were working or doing other things, you would have probably been much more just
Right.
physically active. When the sun exposure is reduced, our serotonin levels do dip. There's lower levels that are associated with higher risks of major depression in general, but there could also be seasonal patterns that are contributing to it as well.
Kelly, my husband Yasik generally gets pretty bummed out between January and April. And so in February, he always plans a little golf trip with his friends. This year, not possible. So, do you have any
Yeah,
suggestions for other people who are in a similar position? A lot of people go on holiday, right, around these months,
yeah,
Yeah.
to maybe
yeah.
improve how they're feeling to sort of, address the seasonal depression?
Yeah. So there's a number of things that people can do depending on their level of how they're experiencing the symptoms. So one, you would start with the life management techniques, how you manage your appetite and your physical activities. So you want to keep your typical sleep-wake pattern the same. So don't sleep longer, don't take longer naps. You want to wake and rise generally around the same time, even on the weekends. You want to do daily or as often as you can aerobic exercises like running or speed walking, anything that can get your heart rate. Dance even, light box treatment is something, if it's seasonal pattern, 10,000 lux rating for the light box that you were to purchase. And it's best to consult a doctor because they also can work with you to kind of monitor the way that light box is affecting you. With the light box treatment, it's actually a light box. It can just fit on your counter or your desk. You can put it, really do recommend 30 to 60 minutes daily. Best to do it shortly after you rise in the morning. And you can put it on, just have it with you while you're doing whatever morning routine or activity that you're doing. And it's best to do it around the same time every day. It can take up to about 4 weeks to experience some differences. The other thing is therapy. So talk therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy is a very common approach. But other treatments that seek to gain insight into any changes that you're having in your cognitions or the way that you're thinking. So if there's a rise in negative thoughts about yourself or others. The other thing is medications. Medications can also help to prevent and or treat. So any combination of all of those elements are really things that you want to be paying attention to.
Kelly, for those who are struggling to get through this, hopefully once in a lifetime kind of winter, what do you want them to remember?
I think the main thing, Jess and Lainey, is just that people are not alone. Just to remember, you are not alone in this. Even if you are living on your own, or even if you're a single person, you are not alone. The winter for all of us is like no other that it's been, like you said, Jess. And we've been seeing and experiencing significant changes in our ability to be active and to be engaged. And it has not been easy for any of us.
Kelly, that advice feels like a little bit of light shining on us. So thank you so much for chatting with us today.
You're welcome.
And everyone else, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.